introduction, we welcome you to the online faculty development program conducted by Department of Mechanical Engineering, Federal Institute of Science and Technology. Over to you, sir.
Thank you for this warm introduction, and I welcome all the participants to this online faculty development program at Federal Institute of Science and Technology. Today we will be hearing somewhere about the introduction to AMPs. AMPs here stands for Advanced Machining Process, and ECH of where ECH named for electrochemical honing of gears. So here are the some of the contents of my slide. We will start with the introduction to key materials in engineering applications, then need of advanced machining process. This is one of the important thing why we actually require advanced machining process. Then we will go through the several types of advanced machining and hybrid machining process, AMPs and HMPs. Now the second section of this lecture will be focused on gears and its finishing by electrochemical honing. So we will go through the introduction to gears and finishing, detailed discussion on electrochemical honing of gears, and future research prospects, like what are the future aspects and how somebody from you can start working on these topics and prepare for the future. So the first question arises are the materials used in engineering applications. So we can broadly categorize in materials used in engineering application in three types, that is metal and its alloys, plastic and composites, and then ceramics. So currently plastic and composites and ceramics are getting more popularity because of their definite advantages over the metal and alloys, and it has been highly used in several engineering applications such as aerospace, marine, or defense systems. While metal and alloys are having some superior properties such as like ultra high strength, hardness, high, very high temperature resistance. This very high temperature resistance material HSRTs are mainly used in ships and turbines, where the turbines are actually working at somewhere around gaseous turbine 1100 degrees centigrades. So these types of materials are there, and because of these properties like ultra high strength, hardness, high temperature resistance, the machining of these material by conventional becomes difficult. The difficulties arises because of their strength and hardness, and somewhere because of the complexity of the shape and size. So these limitations necessitates the need of advanced machining process. So these type of materials we can machine using the advanced machining processes. Now we will move towards some of the more needs of advanced manufacturing or machining process, like limitations of conventional machining methods such as workpiece hardness. They are not able to uh, machine material of high hardness. Then they suffer from the poor surface roughness, and they suffer in machining of 3D parts and complex geometries. Due to increased workpiece hardness, what is happening? The cutting speed slowly and slowly are getting decreased, and due to decreased cutting speed, the overall productivity of the manufacturing process or machining process is getting low. Means we require higher resistance or higher hardness material, high strength material as a tool, which will cost us, and also it will become slow process, which will overall cost us in the lower productivity. Now, the rapid improvements in the properties of material that we have already discussed, but again I'm telling, like workpiece hardness, strength, and properties, which is now the demand of the current era. Now, metal and non-metal such as stainless steel, high strength, temperature resistant, HSRT, superalloys, stellite, nickel, etc. These all materials are nowadays very commonly used in marine and this defense applications and space applications also. So this necessitates the new machining process to emerge and take part to complete this manufacturing process. And also one of the biggest limitation is like tool material hardness should be higher than the workpiece hardness, which is eliminated by using the advanced machining processes. We will go in the next slides and see what are the more limitations and benefits of advanced machining process. So now again the next slide is on the need of advanced manufacturing and machining process. So first thing is product requirement. The product requirement, as I told, is getting complex and more 3D parts are coming into the picture. Now machining in inaccessible areas by the conventional machining is not possible, not feasible, or you can say it is very complex. And achieving the lower tolerance, let us say 10 microns or even less than that as per the requirement, is very difficult by the conventional process such as milling, drilling, turning, grinding or shaping, etc. So, and also the requirements such as better surface integrity means what we require nowadays. We require a material product which is having zero surface defects, no pits, no holes, no burrs, so which is somehow a little difficult by the conventional process. Then high surface finish, nano level average surface roughness, or maybe less than that. Now, another thing is miniaturization of products. Example, landline phones, mobiles, old computers, laptops. Means what? Landline phones are converted to mobiles. Now, mobiles, we are having around 128 GB or memory cards and all these things. These parts are getting not possible by the manufacturing of these parts are not possible by the conventional process. And obviously, the last point is high MRR. MRR stands for material removal rates. Means we require higher material removal rate so that our part can be produced quickly and fastly. Now, what is going to happen when we high production rate while processing difficult to machine materials? So it will be low cost of production. Precision and ultra machining or at nanometer machining requires material removal in the forms of atoms and molecules. Means what? When we are talking about machining with high accuracy, it means we require removal of material at the level of atoms and molecules, very nano levels. So this type of accuracy is not feasible, or we can say it is very difficult by conventional process, and thus we require advanced machining processes. We will go through some of the more slides, like typical examples of parts developed by the AMPs. So here we can see this this such type of part, this complexity, this 3D nature parts can be developed by advanced machining process, while if we are going through the conventional process it is more difficult. If you see this design made by the 3D printing, this design, I don't think it is possible by any conventional process in a single part, since it is a single part by the 3D printing. And this turbine blades, you can see it is made up of nickel alloy. Now we will move to the important characteristics of advanced manufacturing machining process. As I told, all the advantages of advanced machining process, like material hardness is not affecting, strength is not affecting, we can machine it by the advanced machining process. But it also has some certain characteristics. So let us say process performance is independent of workpiece material properties such as hardness, toughness, ductility, brittleness, etc. But process performance is highly depends upon the thermal, electrical, magnetic, and chemical properties of the workpiece materials. Means we are not talking about the mechanical properties, but we are talking about the thermal, electrical, magnetic, and chemical properties of the workpiece material. For example, let us say if we talk about the electrochemical machining. So electrochemical machining is very good process. Now it is highly established. So many people used, but it is having a limitation. The limitation is the bigger one, which is what? It cannot machine non-conductive materials. means there should be electrical conductivity should be there. So similarly, usually AMPs possesses lower material removal rate as compared to conventional process, but in turns AMPs provides high quality parts. So in certain applications, we can see like the material removal rate is obviously less than the turning or drilling or milling, as they are the contact type of processes and removing materials in the bulk. But if we talk about the advanced machining process, the material removal will be comparatively less, but the quality of the product means the surface roughness, the microgeometry, the cylindricity, these all parts will be higher, are better as compared to conventional process. Initial investment cost of setting an AMP is high due to costly machine tool and high operating cost. This is obvious, and let us suppose if we are going to have a simple lathe, it will cost somewhere around 8 lakhs to 10 lakhs, whereas drilling it will cost you somewhere around 5 to 6 lakhs to 10 lakhs simple. But if you are going to have a electrolytic jet drilling machine which is working on the electrolytic principle, it will cost you minimum of 20 lakh rupees. Either you can develop by yourself or either you are going to purchase by somebody else. It is going to cost high, but it eliminates the need of daily routine maintenance and routine tool changing. So in the longer run, the investment cost, if you calculate, it will become low. Now, processes utilize different types of source energy, that is mechanical, thermal, electrical, chemical in its direct form. And usually we classify the advanced machining process based on the type of source energy they are using to remove the material from the workpiece. We will go through in the next slide about the classification and types. So now types of AMPs. There are 15 basic advanced machining process. Out of them, 8 are using mechanical energy, 1 is using electrochemical energy, 1 is using chemical energy, and 5 processes are using thermal energy to remove material from the workpiece. Now there are further derived advanced machining process, which is modification of basic AMPs to meet specific objectives. So for example, just for the example only, derived advanced machining process from the electrochemical machining, that is ECM, are electro stream drilling, shape tube, electromachining, electrolytic jet drilling. These are the derived process, means other than this single electrochemical process, these all are the derived versions. Now derived AMPs from chemical machining, CHM, is photochemical machining, while the derived AMP from EDM is wire cut electrical discharge machining. Maybe you all might have aware about this. Advanced version of EDM is wire electrical discharge machining. Now, derived version of AFM means abrasive flow machining is centrifugal force assisted abrasive flow machining, or CFA AFM. And after all this, the next concept comes the hybrid machining process, which we will be discussing in detail, and we will also discuss the details classification of hybrid machining process. So first we will see the basic AMPs, how many types of these 15 types, like 8 mechanical, electrochemical, chemical, and thermal are named in the next slide. So this is the classification of advanced machining processes according to the type of energy used, that is mechanical, thermal, and electrochemical or chemical. So in the mechanical, it comes abrasive jet machining, water jet machining, ultrasonic machining, abrasive water jet machining, abrasive flow machining, magnetic abrasive flow machining, magneto-rheological finishing, and ice jet machining. And means what? They work on the mechanical energy, means there is some contact with the workpiece material of the our tool or abrasive mediums. And in the thermal part, it is plasma arc machining, electron beam machining, ion beam machining, laser beam machining, and electrical discharge machining. These are the 5 types of thermal processes, thermal energy based process. And then later there are several derived or hybrid processes. In the chemical or electrochemical, there is electrochemical machining, chemical machining, and the derived version is biochemical machining. Now in the next slide, we will go through the details of hybrid machining process. What is hybrid? Concept of hybridization. So HMPs, hybrid machining process, we can abbreviate as HMPs, are gaining considerable attraction to meet some of the ultra precision machining requirements, to meet high productivity requirement for the components made of advanced, difficult to cut materials, difficult to machine or difficult to cut materials. Meet the challenging, stringent design requirement. If certain designs are there which is very complex and you cannot proceed with a single process, we have to move towards the hybridization with the other process. Meet extreme surface quality and tolerance requirement. Means if we are requiring high surface quality in terms of surface finish and microgeometry and tolerances, we have to move towards the HMPs. So hybrid machining processes are also majorly categorized in 2 categories. The first one is the processes in which constituent process are directly. Before going to this, what is hybrid machining process? Are the processes in which we are combining two different processes in a single process to take the benefit and avoid their individual limitations. It may be conventional process plus advanced machining process. It may be conventional plus conventional. It may be from advanced plus advanced, or the mixture of 3. So now we will go to the classification. The first one is processes in which constituent processes are directly involved in material removal. It means, let us suppose if we are doing electrochemical grinding. Electrochemical grinding is hybrid machining process in which electrochemical machining and mechanical grinding are combined together to take the advantages of both process and avoid their individual limitation at the same time. So what is happening? The first point is telling processes in which constituent processes are directly involved in material removal. Means what? Electrochemical machining is also removing material and mechanical grinding is also removing material. Means both the constituent processes are enabling material removal. The second type is process in which only one of the participating processes directly removes material while the other only assists in removal by changing the condition of machining in a positive manner. I am reading again. Processes in which only one of the participating processes directly removes the material while other only assist in removal by changing the conditions of machining in a positive manner. So I will take the example of electrochemical honing because we will be going through the details of the same. So electrochemical honing is a hybrid machining process in which we are combining electrochemical machining, you can say electrochemical machining or you can say electrochemical finishing, and mechanical honing. So what is happening with the ECH, electrochemical honing? The majority of the material removal, 90 to 95% material removal, is done by electrochemical machining, while only 5% to 10% material is removed by the mechanical honing. But we are using mechanical honing to remove the passivating oxide layer, which is a drawback of electrochemical machining. To remove the passivating oxide layers, which is the limitation of electrochemical machining, so that it is converting the process in a positive manner and continuous removal of material is happening. Further, most of the hybrid machining processes are in their inception and development phase. We will find very few processes which is properly developed and is in market. And sustained research is required to transform hybrid machining process into a matured manufacturing technology and for their successful commercialization and industrial applications. Now, we will move towards the classification of hybrid machining process based on different combination of conventional plus advanced, advanced plus conventional processes. So this I have already spoken, but again we can read it like concept of hybrid machining process, that is combining either two or more than two advanced machining process or combining advanced machining process with conventional machining processes. Now, when to conceptualize and develop a hybrid machining process? The first point is to simultaneously exploit the potential and capabilities of the constituent processes, or to minimize the adverse effect induced when a constituent process is used independently. Generally, development of hybrid machining process is either material or shape application specific. Means what? If I am using a hybrid machining process for finishing of gear, so for it is used for the particular type of gear and particular shape of the gear. If I have to move towards the other component or other part, I have to manufacture different tool and different machining chamber for the same. Means it is either material or shape specific applications has been used. Now we will go to the classifications. So classification is done on the basis of 5 things, basically on the type of combining energy source, but I have included all the details like what mechanism of material removal is happening, what type of tool is there, and what is transfer media. So the first one is electrochemical honing, in which we are combining electrochemical machining with mechanical honing. Means type of energy electrochemical plus mechanical. Mechanism of material removal, electrochemical dissolution plus abrasion. Mechanical honing is an abrasive process, so electrochemical dissolution and abrasion. Tool, abrasive sticks, which is the tool for mechanical honing, and transfer media is electrolyte, which is the uh, this provide which initiates the electrolytic action. Second, electrochemical grinding. So electrochemical plus mechanical type of energy is using, and electrochemical dissolution and abrasion are the mechanism of material removal. What are the tools we are using? Abrasive wheel, and transfer media is electrolyte. Third one is electrochemical abrasive grinding. So electrochemical plus mechanical, in which we are using abrasive type of grinding. In this, what is the difference between the upper one and this grinding and abrasive grinding? In this the participants of the both constituent process are there. Then this is conventional machining plus electrochemical AMPs. Now conventional machining plus thermal advanced machining process. So we can say abrasive EDM, in which mechanical energy plus thermal energy is used, and mechanism of material removal is melting, evaporation and abrasion. Melting and evaporation from the electrical discharge machining, and abrasion from the abrasive side. What is the tool? So for the abrasion, for the hybridization, we are using loose abrasive particles, and transfer media is dielectric fluid. The second one is electrical abrasive grinding. In this, mechanical plus thermal energy is used, and the principle is the mechanism and tool and transfer media is same as abrasive EDM. Similarly, you can read electrical diamond grinding, electrical discharge diamond grinding. Basically, it is so mechanical energy plus thermal energy, And then melting, evaporation, and abrasion. The tool used is diamond wheel, and the transfer media is dielectric. Then comes the laser assisted turning. Mechanical and thermal energy has been used. Shearing and heating is the mechanism, while turning tool, because it's a turning operation, so turning tool is there, and transfer media is air. Plasma assisted turning, in this also mechanical plus thermal. Shearing and heating are the mechanism for material removal. Tool is turning tool because it is a plasma assisted turning process, and the transfer media is air. Then laser assisted etching, chemical etching. So it is a chemical plus thermal process, where chemical dissolution and heating is the mechanism for material removal, and mask we are using as a tool, and etchant as a transfer media. Now the third one is conventional machining plus mechanical advanced machining process. So this is rotary ultrasonic machining. In this, mechanical energy plus ultrasonic vibration are used to remove the material from the workpiece. The mechanism is for removal is ablation, and tool sonotrode having diamond abrasives are used, and transfer media used are coolants. Then ultrasonic assisted turning. In this, mechanical energy plus ultrasonic vibration are being used as a energy sources, and shearing has been used. Shearing is the mechanism of material removal, means the material removed from the workpiece in the form of shear. And turning tool are the tool where the air is used as transfer media. Similarly, electrochemical plus thermal. So electrochemical spark machining is there. Then laser assisted electrochemical machining is there. For electrochemical and mechanical, ultrasonic electrochemical machining is also there. Electrochemical magnetic abrasive finishing is also there. And for mechanical plus thermal, ultrasonic electrical discharge machining, and then ultrasonic laser beam machining. In these, mechanical energy and thermal energy are combined. So there is one process which is two mechanical advanced manufacturing process are used, that is MRAFF, magneto-rheological abrasive flow finishing. In this, two advanced machining process are combined. The mechanism of material is shearing, and abrasive tool is used, while the transfer media is MR fluid, magnetic rheological fluid. Now we'll move towards the second section of this lecture or presentation, that is introduction to gears and electrochemical honing process for finishing of gears. So before going to the details of all these things, we will go through the basic fundamentals of gear, that is the type of gears, then why finishing is required, and how finishing is affecting, or what microgeometry is going to affect to the working of the gear. Right. And then we will go through the details of the experimental apparatus, how to develop experimental apparatus, and what are the uh, how to develop the tool for certain things. And then the results are there, some of the from the my research, and then we will go through the future prospects. So first we start with the introduction to gears. As we all know, gear is a modified form of a wheel. It is one of the basic machine elements used for transmission of power or motion between two parallel shafts. When the transmission is between the two parallel shafts, it's called as cylindrical gears. The types are spur and helical. Intersecting shaft, when the transfer is between the two intersecting shafts, it is called as conical gear. That is straight and spiral, and then there is one more gear that is called as mitre gear. Then non-parallel and non-intersecting shaft, that is hypoid gears and worm wheel. So in this presentation, we will be focused more on the finishing of straight bevel gears by electrochemical honing process. So now we will go to the why finishing is required. So I will show you some pictures of type of failures which is occurred because of the poor quality of the gear surface. So you can see in this photograph if you see here, bending fatigue fracture in a spiral bevel pinion has been happened, and this is happened due to the poor surface quality of the gear tooth flank surface. Then the next photograph is, you can see here the failure, micro pitting failure in a spur gear. Here if you see external rupture in a spur gear, you can see the whole part has been removed while meshing, while because of the poor load transfer, poor torque transfer, such failures happens. Then tip chipping in a helical gear. So there may be other several reasons also for such type of failures, but one of the most important reason for such failures are poor surface quality or poor microgeometry. So we will go into the next slide to see how the quality, what are the parameters that are affecting the noise and vibration while running the gear. So measure geometrical process and redemption for noise and vibration in gears. So we will first go through the items that are causing noise during operation. Bad tooth contact means when the two gears are in mesh, the contact between the two tooths are poor. Large tooth profile error. The profile error are high. Poor tooth surface finish means the roughness, average surface roughness, maximum surface roughness are high. Large pitch error. Center distance is too small. Rotation is too fast. Ball and roller bearing making noise. Deformation of gear due to heat treating. And now what to be done to minimize the noise during operation by finishing of gear? Reduce the pitch error, which can be done by finishing of gear. Reduce the tooth profile error, which can be done by the finishing of gear. Reduce the runout error, which is also to be done by finishing of gear. Reduce the lead error. Eliminate the roughness on tooth surface. Tip relieving may correct the pitch error from the tooth deformation and remove the sharp corners of the tooth. So these all things we can do by finishing of gears. Now we will see the percentage contribution in noise and vibration. Yeah. So y-axis is showing the percentage and x-axis are showing the reasons of causes to noise and vibration during the operation of any gear. The first point is accuracy of gear. So we have focused on the very first point, that is accuracy of the gear. Accuracy of the gear is measured in terms, basically in terms of two things. The first thing is surface finish and the second term is microgeometry. So surface finish can be most commonly used to measure our average surface roughness, while microgeometry of the gear are classified in several terms. For cylindrical gears, it is different. For uh, conical gears, it is different. Not different, but few of the things are not present in the bevel gear due to their elliptical profile. So we can see approximately 19% of the noise are generated by accuracy of gear. Then accuracy of assembly, which is human error, so thus it can be avoided. Tooth surface finish is contributing approximately 10%. Then configuration of gearbox, lubrication of gear, that is also to be done manual. Bearings, this is also fitting or replaceable item. Material of gear, design of gear, then operating conditions, load variation, surface damage of gear, shaft and shaft alignment, wear of gear, and miscellaneous other reasons. So particularly if we see the major cause is accuracy of gear, then it comes the human thing, accuracy of assembly. Then comes the third point, which is contributing 10% is surface finish. So we have stick to these 2 points, the first point accuracy and surface finish, so that to develop a process which can simultaneously improve these two things. If these two things are improved, rest of the things can be managed. So we are moving toward the next slide, which is on the application of gear with respect to geometric accuracy or macrogeometric accuracy. So accuracy levels are subdivided into 6 things from AA to E. So we can see, if you can see here, it is written AGMA and here it is written DIN, DIN. So this is the measure of gear quality, that is American Gear Manufacturing Association. They have developed certain standards and they scaled it from 4 to 15. Means what? 15 is the best thing and 4 is the worst. The higher the number, the better is the gear quality. While the lower is the number, the poor is the gear quality. While this DIN, Dorsian Norman, is the German standard for measuring the gear quality. It is from DIN quality 2 to DIN quality 12. DIN quality 1 to DIN quality 12. So the lower the number, higher is the gear quality. The higher is the number, poor is the gear quality. It is these two terms are just opposite. If you see 14, 15, ultra high accuracy. If you see 2, 3, ultra high accuracy. So I have done some research like which type of gear are being used to which applications. So high accuracy gears are normally used in military navigation, precision instruments, computer equipments, etc. While a high quality gear of approximately DIN quality 4 or 5 has been used in aircraft engine, turbines, professional cameras, precision machine tools, speed drives, automotive transmission, high speed machinery, etc. Then medium accuracy 8 to 9 means this A, B and C up to 4 to up to 9 can be used in these things. While the low accuracy D, DIN quality 10, 11 has been used in uh, application where high precision is not required, such as hand tools, pumps, commercial clocks, farm machines, fishing reels, hoists, slow speed machinery, etc. Now, since we have gone through all these things, the next slide will be the introduction to electrochemical honing, means why we require electrochemical honing. So I will go through all these things in the next slide. So we have discussed the basic requirement for the gears are noiseless transmission, accurate and efficient power transmission, torque transfer, higher torque transfer capability, and gear should have higher, longer service life. And to achieve these basic requirements, there are some points, there are some fulfillment criteria. That is, a gear should be accurate in dimension and form profile. A gear should have good surface finish and microgeometry. A gear surface should be defect resistance and better surface integrity should be there. Now what is happening? The conventional manufacturing process such as gear hobbing, gear shaping or gear casting can be also used for gear manufacturing are not being able to produce gear of this quality, high accuracy or even to the medium high accuracy. Somehow what we are getting from the manufacturing machines, traditional manufacturing machine, not advanced manufacturing machine, are DIN quality 9, 10, 11. Means low accuracy. Means this finishing is required. Further operation is required to improve the quality to be used in military navigation, aircraft engines, and other things. So, conventionally, to improve the quality, gear grinding, gear lapping, gear honing, gear shaving, gear burnishing are being used. But these processes also suffers from their inherent limitations. For example, I will say gear grinding can improve the surface quality, but at the same time, the grinding lines on the tooth flank surface will necessitates will enhance the noise and vibration during their use. While the gear lapping, so gear lapping is a slow process and it can finish a gear in a conjugate pair only. Then comes the gear honing, and the gear honing has certain limitation of workpiece hardness, and also it can correct only few microgeometrical errors, and extreme finishing cannot be achieved. Then gear shaving is there and gear burnishing is there. Gear shaving and burnishing can be used for low material hardness gear. So, and also the grinding is also having some hardness limitation of around 80 or 90 HRC, Rockwell hardness. So somehow this necessitates a process. Let us suppose if a gear is manufactured by high quality, high strength material or super alloy, how we can finish, how we can do the machining or finishing, it is not possible by the conventional machining. So this necessitates the need of advanced or hybrid machining process. So these limitation motivates to develop a process called electrochemical honing. In electrochemical honing, what we are doing, we are combining electrochemical finishing and mechanical honing. So what we are doing, we are combining the capabilities of electrochemical finishing, and we are combining the capabilities of mechanical honing, and at the same time and at the same time we are overcoming their individual limitation of these two processes by taking their capabilities. So electrochemical finishing is having a capability like it can finish material of any hardness, it can produce stress-free and crack-free surface, higher material removal rate, and no tool wear. Since electrochemical finishing is a non-contact process, means tool and workpiece are not in contact with each other, the tool wear is negligible. And what is the limitation of electrochemical finishing? Formation of passivating metal oxide layer on the workpiece material, which prohibits the further material removal. Now, for the mechanical honing, what capability we are combining? We are combining the capability to correct the geometric errors and limitation which we are overcoming: limited honing tool life, slow process, incapability of finishing a hardened gear, and possibility of mechanical damage. So means what? By combining these two processes, we are taking the capabilities, and these all limitations are eliminated. Now we will talk about some of the process parameter related to the electrochemical finishing, that is voltage, pulse on time, pulse of time, duty cycle, finishing time, electrolyte type and concentration, flow rate, temperature, and interelectrode gear. While the parameter related to mechanical honing are speed of rotation of workpiece gear, material and work hardness of honing gear, and type and size of abrasive grains. Now we will go through the details of setup apparatus. So this is the setup apparatus for pulsed electrochemical honing of straight bevel gears. In this, you can see, if you can closely see, this is a simple drilling machine. This is a simple drilling machine, and we have converted a simple drilling machine by developing a machining chamber into a electrochemical honing process. So for this, we have developed a finishing chamber or machining chamber. The concept is here. The concept of twin complementary cathode gears are used. So I'm explaining this concept in a detail. I urge everyone to see the figure C, concept of twin complementary cathode gears. So here there is a marking. One is workpiece gear, two is honing gear, three is cathode gear 1, 4 is cathode gear 2, and 5 is electrolyte supply. The yellow color is non-conducting material, the orange color has been used as conducting material, which is copper. So I urge everyone to have a focus on this figure. So this concept is called as twin complementary cathode gears, and this concept enable us to finish the entire phase width. This is our workpiece gear. So entire phase width of the workpiece gear without requiring the need of reciprocating motion. So in this concept, one of the gear, cathode gear 3, cathode gear 3 has insulating layer of metal on sandwich between two conducting layers of copper. So here, if you see an insulating layer of this yellow one, the insulating layer of metal on material has been sandwiched between the two conducting layer of copper. Whereas the cathode gear 2, that is marked as 4, has a conducting layer of copper, this orange one, sandwiched between the two non-conducting layer of metal on material, and this conducting layer is undercut by 1 mm as compared to non-conducting layer of metal on. The conducting part is undercut by 1 mm with respect to the non-conducting part, so as to maintain the required inter-electrode gap, which is essential criteria for electrochemical finishing or electrochemical process throughout the process. The workpiece gear 1, here if you can see, the workpiece gear 1, Honing gear 2 and cathode gear 3 and 4 are mounted in such a way that their axis of rotation are perpendicular to each other. If we see figure B, the mounting are in such a way, this is our workpiece gear, these two, this one and this one is Honing gear, cathode gear, and this one is Honing gear. They are mounted in such a way that their axis of rotation are perpendicular to each other. The 5, this electrolyte flow and a DC current using this carbon bush assembly has been supplied to complete the electrolytic dissolution process. Now this is the photograph, figure number D is the photograph of workpiece gear, Honing gear and twin complementary cathode gear. So 20 mm CR5 material has been used as a workpiece gear because of their extensive application in the automobile and aviation industries. This is the This is the details of workpiece gear, Honing gear and cathode gears. So how we have developed the cathode gears? So we have cut two cathode blank, one of non-conducting, one of conducting. Then we have sliced it and sandwich them in such a way that there will be no gap between the conducting and non-conducting part. Now I will go through the planning of experiment, how we have planned the experiments. So this is called design of experiments. So total 52 experiments has been performed. In the 3 stages, there will be first pilot experiments. In the pilot experiments, we have conducted 25 experiments by varying pulse on time T on, pulse of time T off, finishing time T, electrolyte flow rate EF, rotary speed of workpiece gear R, and we have fixed the electrolyte composition, electrolyte concentration, and applied voltage. What is happening? What is the benefit of pilot experiment? We were able to find the optimum value of these variable parameters. So see, you can see we have the range of 1 millisecond to 5 milliseconds. After experiment, we have finalized the range as 2 milliseconds, 4.5, 6 minutes, 20 liter per minute, and 40 rpm. So these fixed value has been considered as fixed parameter for the main experiment, and these three variable has been used as a varying parameter for the next set of experiment. So after finding their fixed value, we have conducted some validation experiment for the theoretical model and confirmation experiments also. So now comes to the what are the responses that are considered for finishing of gears by electrochemical honing. So we have basically categorized this into two things: the parameter that affect the noise and transmission accuracy, and the parameter that affect the service life, load carrying capacity, operating performance, and efficiency of the gear, of the bevel gear. So what is affecting our noise and transmission accuracy? If you remember the percentage point accuracy of the gear. So it is single pitch error, adjacent pitch error, cumulative pitch error, total runout, and surface topology. In the surface quality, we have two things: surface finish and surface. Then comes the surface integrity. In the surface finish, we have considered four parameters: average surface roughness, maximum surface roughness, depth of surface roughness, bearing area curve. While surface integrity has been studied in the form of microstructure, micro hardness, and wear characteristics in terms of friction force and coefficient of friction. So, from the next slide, we will be seeing some of the results of this study, the experimentation. So I will not go into the depth of this explaining the graph, but I will explain the final results. So I will just show you. And one more important thing, the roughness and microgeometry has been measured in terms of average percentage improvement in them. How this is calculated? Average roughness value before finishing minus average roughness value after finishing divided by average roughness value before finishing multiplied by 100. So this is how we have measured the percentage improvement occurred in the gear profile or gear surface quality. So next are the effects. These are the effects of pulse on time and pulse of time on the surface finish and microgeometry. So figure A and figure B are showing the effects of pulse on time and pulse of time on surface finish, while figure C and figure D are showing the effect of pulse on time and pulse of time on microgeometry parameters. So here if we see 2 milliseconds, and one of the most important things which I forget to inform you on, the basis of the study is like we have to achieve a simultaneous improvement in all the concerned parameters. Means we cannot say it is an optimum or it is a good parameter to be selected if it is only giving us better surface finish. We have to focus on microgeometry parameters also. So we have selected all those parameters on which we are getting simultaneously improvement in all the major parameter of surface finish and microgeometry. So here on pulse on time effect, we can see 2 milliseconds has provided us good results, while pulse of time of 4 millisecond, 4.5 millisecond has provided us good results. And the same time we can see 2 milliseconds on the microgeometry section as a pulse on time is also giving us good results, while 4.5 milliseconds as a pulse of time also giving good results. So we have selected 2 millisecond and 4.5 millisecond as an optimum parameter for the next set of experiments. Similarly, these are the effects of finishing time and applied voltage on surface finish and microgeometry. So finishing time we have finalized of 6 minutes for simultaneous improvement in surface finish and microgeometry, and applied voltage as an 8 volt lower voltage as an optimum for next set of experimentation. While electrolyte composition, we have selected 50% of NaCl and 50% of NNO3 are giving us better result, and electrolyte concentration of 7.5 percentage weighted percentage are giving us good results in all the concerned parameters. Now comes to the best finish. This is the most important part. I want to show like how we have achieved simultaneous improvement and what are the benefits. So if you remember, I told you the lower the DIN quality, the better is the quality of gear in terms of microgeometry errors. So if we see, this is for the best finished gear which we have find, like in which both the parameters has given us simultaneous improvement. So single pitch error has improved the DIN quality from 9 to 7. And if you are concerning the error in terms of microns, the previously before finishing of the same gear at the same point was 34.9 microns, and after finishing by electrochemical honing, it is improved to 13.7 and improving the overall DIN quality from DIN 9 to DIN 7. While the cumulative pitch error has improved to DIN quality 8 to DIN quality 7. Adjacent pitch error has improved from DIN quality 10 to DIN quality 6, while total runout has been improved from DIN quality 9 to DIN quality 8. And for selecting a gear, we have to take the average. So if you are taking the average, it is coming to DIN quality 9 to DIN quality 7. Means we are improving by 2 DIN standards. While if you see this roughness profile, this is the profile of a gear, unfinished gear, and this is the profile of a gear finished by electrochemical honing. Same gear at same point before finishing, the average surface roughness value is 2.84 microns, maximum surface roughness value is 24.59 microns, and depth of roughness RZ is 13.5, while the material ratio curve, this is the material ratio curve showing 8.14% of feasible material. After finishing, RA, average roughness has improved from 2.84 to 1.03. Maximum roughness has improved more than 60%, 70% from 24 to 6. RZ improved from 13 to 5, and material ratio curve improved from 8% to 77.4%. Now we'll go to the surface topology, or you can call it as a topography also. So the upper figure, this one on the cursor, this is the for the gear which is unfinished, and this is unfinished gear, unfinished tooth, and this is for the finished gear and the same tooth. If we see the left flank, this topography shows the vertical deviation in the gear tooth profile. So if you compare these two things, we can clearly see this vertical deviations has been removed or has been reduced after finishing it by electrochemical honing process. While some are still present, but their values are reduced or decreased. Means overall collective improvement can be seen in a gear tooth. Now these are the wear indicating parameters. So wear indicating parameters we have studied in terms of coefficient of friction. The coefficient of friction has reduced from 0.1 to 0.028, and average friction value from 5.3 friction force reduced from 5.36 to 1.32. So what this matters in a gear? Why we have studied for the wear thing? So in a literature, very few literature are present on the mechanical efficiency of the gear, but I was able to find. So in a literature, I observed that people have studied if the coefficient of friction is less than 0.03, the mechanical efficiency of the gear meshing when meshing with the other gear is improved to 99.8%. While for the gear tooth having coefficient of friction more than 0.3, the mechanical efficiency is approximately 85 to 90%. So this is the reason why we have studied this thing. And this is the SEM image of the wear track. You can see it is very exposed craters, high peaks and peaks can be seen, and lots of material has been removed. Some microchips are also there. While this is the photograph for the gear finished by electrochemical honing, we can see some electrolyte marks of NaCl because it is a corrosive in nature. But you can see the wear track is smoothened. The high peaks and pits are removed. Rough surface and cutting marks are removed. This is for the same gear tooth. Now we have I've developed mathematical model for material removal rate and surface finish. So I will not go into the depth of this thing. Just for the motivation, I have included this slide. Like analytical models are best way to observe any process and to develop any process. So for electrochemical process, we have used the fundamental of Faraday law of electrolysis, and for the ablation part, mechanical honing part, Arcad law of wear has been used to develop these formulas for volumetric MRR, and this formula equation 3 for depth of roughness and equation 1 for the volumetric MRR. And these are the results. If you can see, these are the black lines are showing predicted value by theoretical model, and the orange one or yellow one showing experimental material removal rate. So you can see at various points we have find very close correlation between the theoretical and predicted values of material removal rate, and at the same time we have observed the similar results in the roughness profile also. Means our model are validated with a error range of 10% approximately. Now, these are the some key achievements which we have observed from this research point of view. Identified the optimum combination of parameter of PECH for finishing of straight bevel gears. Simultaneous improvement in surface quality and microgeometry has been achieved. This we have already discussed. Excellent improvements in microstructure of PECH finished bevel gear. Significant improvement in surface integrity aspect in terms of wear has been seen, and mathematical models have been developed for prediction of MRR and depth of roughness, and result shows the close agreement between the experimental and developed models. Now the next two slides are important as it shows the future prospects uh, of this work or the for the next to be done. So future prospect, gear tooth flank modification by electrochemical honing. The first point is exploring the use of electrochemical honing for flank crowning, profile crowning, tip relief by developing specially designed cathodes by wearing the interelectrode gear. Prediction of required stock allowances for gear finishing by electrochemical honing, considering the sustainability aspects of manufacturing. Third one is thermal modeling of process can be performed for better understanding the role of electrolyte flow rate and heat generation near to the interelectrode gap. Then exergy analysis and its comparison with the other conventional and advanced gear finishing processes can be done to prove the better usefulness of electrochemical honing in terms of energy efficiency. Further, electrochemical honing can be explored for other complex shaped components such as turbine blades, fans, and different types of gears, including hypoid and worm wheels. So I will share one more slide, which is very important, which will show uh, uh, which is related to the point number 1, exploring use of electrochemical honing for flank crowning and tip relief. So this tooth flank modification is desired deviation in the tooth geometry from the ideal or theoretical geometry. Means what? Tooth modification we are intentionally doing. It is not required, but we are intentionally doing to modify and improve the process efficiency or the power transmission capability or torque transfer capability of the gear. So certain classification are there for the gear tooth flank modification. Some modification are done in the profile, this profile of the gear. Some modification are flank line modification, which is to be done here in the flank line, and some modification on the flank face modification. So for the profile, there is tip and root relief, profile angle modification, and profile crowning. For flank line modification, end relief is there, helix angle modification is there, and flank crowning is there. Flank face modification, topographical modification, triangular end relief, and flank twist. So these are
all this COVID situation or the troubles of today, will be able to achieve the desired results. With this, I come to an end of my presentation. But I thank again Dr. Sidramaya sir, Dr. Kameshwari Devi, and the entire.
hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. There is some disturbances.
Okay, I thought somebody is asking some question. So
No.
okay, so rest. This is all from my side, basically from the future prospects, and there are some more details which I have included. Like if somebody is wanted to see the results of simultaneous improvement and how we have selected the optimum combination of parameters. So these are the tables of our results. I can share this. Can I share these slides later on?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So I will share the slides so that you people can have a close look over the process and can modify it for the further improvement and some betterness in the results. So all the results are there for the surface finish, and my all the publication are all also there. These all paper are already published, so you can find these in the journal articles also and in this slide also. Okay, so this is all from my side. If you have any questions, I will be happy to answer them. Dr. Rajesh?
Thank you, sir, for a wonderful presentation.
Thank you, sir.
We have some queries posted by the participants.
Can I close this slide or to go to the Google Meet, or shall I open this slide only and you will dictate these questions?
Your call, sir.
It is up to you. No problem.
No problem. Anything is fine, sir.
Okay. Yes.
Yes, sir. One of the participants, Sai Supriya Lakshmi, has asked, what was the design adopted for pilot experiments? Any software has been used?
Design of experiment has been used. For the pilot experiment, we have conducted in two phases. The first one, we have used box Benken design. The central composite design of response surface metallurgy. And for the main experiment, we have used box Benken design of the response surface metallurgy. The reason behind this, in the pilot experiment, since we are not sure about the range of the optimum range, so we have conducted in 5 levels. For the 5 levels, central composite design is preferable, and for 3 levels of experimentation, box Benken design is preferable.
Sir, another question from Anis KJ. He has asked, what is meant by crowning?
Crowning, like if I can show you in another slide.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just wait, no? Oh, it is not. It is for the tip and root relief. So basically, we are modifying the tooth. We are reducing the surface of the tooth flank to certain extent, so that the two gear, when they are meshing with each other, do not have some certain better contact. To improve the contact between the two meshing gear, if we have the larger tooth contact, we have the higher efficiency, higher torque transfer capability, and higher power transfer capability. So we are reducing the flank of the workpiece in a such a way so that when the both tooth mesh, they have the larger contact area.
Okay, sir. One more question. Sai Supriya Lakshmi has asked how the microgeometry is assessed. Assessment of microgeometry.
Yes, very good question. Microgeometry has been assessed using the CNC gear metrology machine by Mahar Metrology and by I'm forgetting the name of the German company, Welson, Wenzel Tech. So Wenzel Tech machine is there at IIT Indore, Indian Institute of Technology Indore. So on this machine you can test. It is just like CMM. If you know about the CMM, it is just like CMM, but it is totally devoted to the gear. You have to program it, and it will helpful for the measurement of gear tooth metrology.
Thank you, sir. May I ask why ECH was specifically selected? What all were the other options available?
Other option was abrasive flow finishing, but if we go to the abrasive flow finishing, the amount of material removal rate and this microgeometry concerns are not reported anywhere, and also it is very tough to control the microgeometry in abrasive flow finishing process. So that's why we opt to the electrochemical honing. And also to justify the need of this hybridization, I cannot include each and everything, but there are one paper which I have published on the effect of honing gear hardness, means how electrochemical honing and honing is contributed to this process.
Yes, sir.
So there are AFM also there, AFF, abrasive flow finishing, which is also studied and have shown good results.
Sir, another question from a participant. I think you have already answered the question. The question is, does lesser number of DIN means good quality?
Yes. Does lesser number of DIN quality means the gear is of good microgeometry, having good microgeometry aspects. DIN quality do not resemble with the surface roughness. It only study about the microgeometry aspects.
Yes, sir. Sir,
okay, so just want to clear one more thing. It may happen like your gear surface is having 0.1 micron of finishing, good quality finishing, but microgeometry is poor. So DIN may show 10, DIN quality 10, but you can see like my roughness is okay, very good. But these things are there. So DIN quality doesn't resemble anything to the surface roughness. It is only about the microgeometry aspects.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
What are the common electrolytes being used?
The commonly used are NaCl and NNO3. Then we go for the KCl, and basically passive electrolytes are used because it required passivation to remove the material and have the good surface finish.
So if NaCl is used means
the
issue of sustainability is okay. There is no pollution.
Yeah, NaCl we are using NaCl like.
So no problem of the pollution and.
The pollution thing is also there, and the pH stability is also there.
Yes.
The total stability is also there. And but the major problem which one should ask is the corrosive nature.
Yes.
You won't believe, after doing one set of experiment for 2 hours, if I forget to clean, the whole setup is rusted.
Oh.
This much of corrosion is happening. So if somebody can develop a electrolyte which is non-hazardous and non-corrosive, maybe he can get the Nobel.
Okay, sir. I think there are no more queries left to ask. Okay. Thank you, sir. The session was very informative. Now, sustainable manufacturing. Yes. Sustainable manufacturing. No problem, sir. It's just on time. Sustainable manufacturing is like a hot topic nowadays, but it still needs more careful attention from researchers, especially mechanical engineers,
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. Your presentation reminded us that there is still room for improvement, even for processes like gear manufacturing, which we mechanical engineers usually take for granted. We assume that gear manufacturing is already in a saturated, researchers in gear manufacturing is already in a saturated state, but still there are room for improvement.
You know, people are nowadays manufacturing the gear using the EDM and wire EDM, so that they have the high quality. They do not have the poor microgeometry or something. Okay,
Yes,
but
yes.
developing a gear, manufacturing a gear by the wire EDM taking 1 hour, 1 hour to 2 hours to cut one gear. So where is the productivity? So that is why the improvement scope is still there. I have also manufactured the gear using the gear hobbing machine by the Gleason method, but I was able by having all the procedure mentioned by the company, I was able to produce the gear, manufacture the gear of DIN quality 10.
Oh.
Means of low accuracy.
Okay.
So that's
Sir,
why finishing required. People nowadays are thinking like additive manufacturing are there. There is so that there is no scope of the machining.
yes,
This is
yes.
another thing. I have taken few lectures in recent time. So there was query like what is the scope of machining?
Yes.
So if we see the metal additive manufacturing, if you have actually seen the product of just after their production, you will throw that product. It is in such poor shape.
Yes.
The betterness comes only after machining, and
Yes.
there is a still challenge in additive manufacturing, that is post processing of additive manufacturing components.
Yes.
So this process we can utilize, we can develop in such a way that it can become a possible solution for them.
Yes, sir. Sir, one more question from Mr. Vibin RG. After you might have clarified,
Yeah,
he's
green
asking,
corrosion inhibitors
yes,
can
yes.
use no.
Can you use green corrosion inhibitors?
I have not used it. I have not gone through it, so
Okay, sir. Okay.
I have not seen.
Okay, sir. I think there are no more queries pending.
Okay.
Thank you for accepting our invitation, I should say, sir,
Thank you, Dr. Rajesh.
and joining us today. It has been a
Thank you.
pleasure hosting you, sir. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.